Ndinoda kuti nyika isiwe vanhu vangu inguva yedu hatingatadzi kubudirira Mwari ari parutivi pedu rambai muchirwa My hitters gon' die, don't die, the real hitters gon' shine and my people gon' rise, cause we're born to win, like sense for the sense.
Loyalty's my favorite characteristic of God, but finding it in it is hard. It's like trying to find God. You're the only one in your camp with cheese. You pay for everything they eat. Man, that insecurity is deep. Now I ain't said no names. These are just theories. If you hear me, baby, it's home. You must admit it's kind of eerie, baby. Like them chemtrails in the sky. Hate to selling the slaves, kind of like the combines. We say everything in moderation, but don't do it in moderation. The lies of a gluttonous generation. 10-year-old girl in.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Day with Trae. As you can see, well, it's not Trae. It's me, Omari Salisbury. I got the pleasure of filling in for my colleague, Trae Holiday, a well-deserved day off. And I'll be honest with you, I've kind of missed it around here. You know what I'm saying? Not enough to come back every day, but I definitely have missed it. It's good to be back here in the Black Media Matters studio. Before we get started, big shout out to our live director, Salman Abkwashi, and of course, our Mr. Everything this summer, Ron Williams, taking pictures here today. Got a great show lined up for you, man. It looks like it's going to be pretty fast-paced. First up, we've got Besa Gordon. Besa's going to check in. We talked about the fireworks last night, and man, Besa interviewed the CEO of like Bel Air Champagne, all the black bottle, all you people out there popping. Well, Besa actually talked to the CEO of Bel Air. We'll talk a little bit about that. Then we've got Tia Yarbrough. Tia Yarbrough is going to be in the building. And if you know Converge, no matter what the show, you know that Public Health Seattle King County, especially Zero Youth Detention, has been a partner of ours for a while. And, you know, we're welcoming Tia to get some updates on some information that's going on over there at ZYD. But one of their biggest primary goals is something that's near and dear to our heart here at Converge Media, and that's the disruption of gun violence in Seattle and King County. And so it's going to be great to get some info there. And we'll see if he makes it through the door, but we're waiting for Willard Jimerson. And Willard Jimerson, also over there, Public Health and Zero Youth Detention. And just to give you guys some context, the 2018 or 2019, we launched a show with Willard Jimerson called Good Game Alert. And that whole show was about disrupting gun violence on the street. And good game. Game is information. We wanted to give people a good game. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you some good information before you make a bad decision. So really targeting young people who might be on the verge of making a bad decision, or people who are getting out of prison and being able to offer some resources. And so, you know, when Willard is here, it's an authentic conversation with Converge, because well before protests, well before this and that, you know, you go back 3 years having a conversation with Willard. Before I jump into it today, and maybe I could do it all at the same time. First of all, welcome, Besa Gordon.
Hey, how y'all doing? Hope y'all doing mighty fine.
Doing mighty fine. And so before we go into everything today, the Vita agency, which is our ad agency, turns 5 years old.
Which is so crazy. I literally just did a post on IG and it was like, oh, shout out to Vita Agency. And I did it like last night, not even knowing that today was their birthday. So happy birthday.
Yeah, big shout out to Amalia and Amir and Ryan and Janine and everybody else at the Vita Agency. And by the way, if you're out there and you want to advertise on Converge, you know what I'm saying? Those are the people that made you. We're moving up in the world. I'm not up at 3 a.m. now. We're responding to emails. We actually have an ad agency who's managing all that stuff. So big shout out to Vita Agency. All right, so we got a few things to talk about with you. First of all, you know, it was the 4th. You know, and I was asleep, by the way. Yeah, old man, you know what I'm saying? The old man, and he popped up, you know.
Took a little nap.
I was asleep, but you weren't asleep. People don't know. We only live literally like 1-2 blocks from each other. You caught the fireworks last night. Tell us all about it.
So, okay, the beauty of living on South Lake Union, it could be a little loud over there. I'm not going to lie, but you know, my building has a rooftop. So I knew that the fireworks were going to be at Gasworks, being that Hits 106.1 was a part of the event. Jubal and Alex were over there, who does the morning show on Hits 106.1. So as soon as it hit, like, I think 10:20, I went upstairs. Everybody in my building was upstairs, and we literally just went and enjoyed the fireworks. I was really excited about it, though, because I don't know if you guys realized, but it's literally been about 3 years since we had fireworks here. So this was the first year that we were able to actually bring back fireworks. Even last year on 4th of July, we didn't have fireworks in person. What they did was they used like a replay of some old best firework moments. I think that actually, you know what? That might have been New Year's. It was one of them, but it wasn't live. It was like all in video.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm trying to think of what I was doing last year on the 4th. Might have been doing the most somewhere. I can't.
I don't know what I was doing, to be honest.
I can't remember. What was I doing? Ooh-wee.
Lord.
July 4th. No, I remember I was doing July 4th. All right. So, and fireworks were dope. You got a great rooftop. You know what I'm saying? The view was there. It's good that the fireworks are back. I know a lot of people were excited about it and everything else, right? Before we do move on to the next thing, though, I feel much better today, so I'm able to just talk about this briefly in the best way. You know what I'm saying? July 4th was also the 2-year anniversary of when Summer Taylor was murdered there on I-5, and we were there on I-5 actually talking to the evening marchers when they were there on the freeway. And I remember it vividly, the car entering the empty freeway, going around the barricaded cars, ran right into a group of protesters, killing Summer Taylor and critically injuring Diaz Love. And so, we say all the time, man, it's still summer season all year. The trial's coming up. I think I'm going to be in the trial, unfortunately. But definitely want to, shout out Summer Taylor's family. Okay. Next up, because we got a bunch of stuff from you. Last week, you talked to Brett Barish.
Yes, Brett Barish.
And Brett Barish is the CEO of Sovereign Brands, but most people know the most famous brand within Sovereign Brand is Luc Belaire, which Luc. Oh, look at you! You picked up on your French, huh? Luc Belaire, which is the black bottle. I guess I got a few other bottles, but it's a champagne out of and. In America, they're doing really well, but globally, that whole brand it's one of the fastest growing brands in the world. Yep. And the CEO sat down with you specifically to want to give some insights on branding and business development, right? So many about it. We set this up.
Well, what it is when I did some research on him, and I don't know about everyone else when they do their interviews, but I kind of like to meet people where they are. And with watching his interviews and being that he has a whole show about being self-made, it's actually called Self-Made. I just knew that kind of interview would be best to be done about branding and marketing and growing a brand and making a successful brand. So in the clip that we actually have right here, I decided to ask Brett a question that I felt that I'd never heard him answer before, which was, do you feel that as someone that has multiple #1 brands, do the brand create the brand, or shall I say, does the company create the look and feel for the brand and what the brand means, or does your consumer? As someone that has so many successful brands, do you feel like you really create your brand, or does the consumer create the brand?
It's it's both. It's a great question. I like that. It's a combination. So to me, it's what's in the bottle. I use Bamboo, my rum. I wanted a taste that's better than our competition. I wanted something that's unique and different. Nice, and you're empty. You're empty. That's not clear liquid. That's empty liquid.
No, it's empty. We drank that.
But I wanted a better tasting product, and I wanted a better story. And all my brands have the same thing, where I can't launch it in the market unless I feel like it's better than what I'm going up against. But once it gets out there, I don't know what I have. And the market and the consumer is the one who tells me. He or she tells me where to go, or who's interested in it, or who wants to get on board. So Wayne loves this brand. He's interested in it. I didn't approach him. Wayne loved the brand and wanted to be a part of this. It wasn't part of the plan. Or Bel Air. We've got these groups out there, Bel Air Boys, Black Bottle Boys, Black Bottle Girls. That started with consumers. We embrace that. We own what the consumer did, and we see its success that way. Bamboo in Canada, I love this story. Canada is our single biggest market in the world outside the U.S., and no one from our company has ever been there.
Wow, how do you think that happened?
They took hold of it. And so to me, some people, I want to embrace it's the key to life. Embrace your fans, embrace your consumer, whoever they are, no matter where they come from, no matter who they are, embrace them. And because I'm embracing that market, I'm saying, okay, you like me, I like you. Let's go do something and let's keep feeding that. In the country of Latvia, I had to look at a map to see where it was. We're the fastest growing brand in the whole country. It's not like they're a rum market, but I embraced it because they love the brand. And if you do that, you can always win.
All right. So I would say this. I watched the whole interview. It's like 36 minutes. And one thing I will say is this. It's real interesting right here that in our city of Seattle, where all these big CEOs and everything hire all of these different firms and advertising and communication and PR and DEI and all this and that to try to be able to communicate effectively to us. And this guy, you know what I'm saying, or one of the biggest brands out there in this consumer market, didn't want nothing. You know what I'm saying? And didn't pay you or us for anything like that. It was just like, man, I just want to give some game.
Yeah. And what's interesting is they actually reached out to me. So it happened to be one of those days where I was checking my DMs in the request and I saw a blue check. I said, well, who is this? So, wait a minute. We have blue checks in the request area. Let's check that. So that's how the interview actually ended up being done. They reached out to me and I was very happy and just frankly thankful that he was willing to give all that free game to not only just me, but different aspiring business owners.
All right, good stuff. Now I know we talked about it, and if Trae was here today as a discussion, both of you guys have had, because you've talked about it separately but not together. But we've got this clip here. It's the sizzle of when you and Trae went down to Los Angeles. My fault. Excuse me. Can I get the camera, Mr. Director? When Besa Gordon and Trae Holiday was flued out.
I know that's right.
when they got flued out to LA, Curtis Delgado II, out there to LA, to Hollywood for the premiere of Hadestown. And we've got the video right here.
All right, y'all. Trae Holiday in the building. We're right here at the SeaTac Airport, about to board this flight so we can get to LA. Come on now, you know Converge is all over the place. Watch out as Converge takes LA.
I almost cried.
Yeah.
But I want to see this again. This was good.
It was that good.
I felt some kind of way because you and Trae Holiday got the invite, got flued out to LA, and I had to stay here. But it's okay. I'm going to catch it on the 12th, right?
Yeah, so the first day to actually see it is going to be July 12th. The last day to see it will be July 17th. But tickets are literally on sale right now. Trae and I ended up interviewing the entire main cast along with the director. So you can not only get your tickets, but also see all of our interviews over at whereweconverge.com/Hadestown.
/Hadestown. All right. So last thing here, we see that Willard Jimerson did make it here now.
Hey.
So you got to put your phone on silent though, Chief. Okay. It's the house rules over here. Okay, that's in that reply email that you get. It says, please silence phone before entering studio. All right, last thing is that this Saturday, you're back again. Last year was a big deal. It was Friends of Waterfront's block party over there at Pier 62. You and G. Prez Aspie, you're back again this year. It looks like Trae Holiday's joining you as well, right?
She is. So, just like last year, Prez and myself, we will be hosting the Converge live stream. And then Trae will be on the stage emceeing the entire event for Friends of Waterfront's block party.
Yeah, the waterfront. Meet me at the pier. It's going down.
And it's going to be nice. It should be like about 75 degrees this Saturday. And the event's going to be from 4 to 8 p.m. It's free. And I hope to see you guys there.
Yeah, and like you said, if you go down to the pier, we really want people to go down to the pier, but we know not everybody can make it to the pier. And so Friends of Waterfront was real intentional. If you can't make it to the pier, they can watch all the activity right here on Converge. It'll be live stream. Besa Gordon, before we let you go, look at that camera right there. Tell everybody how they keep up with you.
Shoot, I keep it really simple. You can keep up with me on social media. Every single one of my platforms is Besa Gordon. And then actually all week, you can hear me on Hits 106.1, middays 11 to 2 p.m.
Hello. All right. Thank you, Besa.
You're welcome.
We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, man, it's serious business. We're talking to Tia Yarbrough from Zero Youth Detention. You're watching The Day with Trae.
What up, y'all? It's T-Dub. I'm here at Converge Media to let you know about my new venture, The Resole. We are introducing Seattle's first dry cleaner for sneakers, and we want you to be a part of it. Head over to www.theresole206.com this Juneteenth weekend for our official website launch.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. Just so you know, Friends of Waterfront's block party is back this year. And of course, myself and G Prez will be back hosting the full-on live stream on Converge in case you can't be there. Look, it literally all goes down this Saturday at Pier 62. And not only will myself and G Prez be there, you know my girl Trae Holiday is going to be on the stage emceeing the entire event. You don't want to miss it. Just like last year, there will be food, there will be games, there will be music, there will be performances, and there will also be some dancing. So look, make sure you pull up to Pier 62 this Saturday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will see you there. And of course, I do have to make sure I give an amazing shout out to our sponsor of this year's Friends of Waterfront block party, which happens to be Stanley. So again, I'll see you guys this Saturday, and make sure you wear something cute. That way we can take some photos.
The truth with proof, the truth with proof. If you nice with the sports, then he swooping through. He gon' highlight you. Ain't nobody live like us, fly like us. We gon' find you, put the city behind you. Let us know you got skills. We gon' be at a game. In the Northwest, we reppin' the city where it rains.
All right, welcome back to The Day with Trae. My name is Omari Salisbury, filling in for my good colleague, Bayana Holiday. Joined right now on the set by Tia Yarbrough. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, Zero Youth Detention. We talked about it early on in the beginning of the show. It's been basically a partner. It's like an unwritten agreement, but partner because we really have some of the same goals, and of course the goal of violence disruption and creating safer communities and neighborhoods across King County.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And I'm just excited to be here today. Today, we're just talking about the community safety and well-being plan and really wanting to get community feedback. And I wanted to detail a little bit about our process. So in Executive Dow Constantine in 2020 declared racism a public health crisis. I got my notes today because this is an important issue. And so I don't want to miss anything. And so, Omari, thank you for letting me have this big piece of paper in my hand.
You should have seen me at the Emmys. People. Hey, look, I wasn't gonna mess it up. I have a big old piece.
Right. Yeah. So Executive Dow Constantine declared racism a public health crisis in 2020. In 2021, gun violence was declared a health emergency. And so that kicked in motion our plan, which we needed to convene with 19 partners across community and county to make sure that we address the urgency that was had as a result of COVID-19, the stress as a result of what was happening in our communities. And so this is where the community safety and well-being plan was birthed. And so we're in a couple different phases. So initial data walk showed a disproportionate number of Black and brown young people who were impacted by gun violence. And so the regional community safety and well-being plan is the response to that urgent need. And so with the commitment to undergo a long-term planning process, we recognize the need to address the immediate issues of gun violence. And so we thank Converge for being a partner and always elevating this important issue because gun violence is immediate crisis in our community. And so the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan is a part of that. And we engaged with Cities United, which is an organization out of Louisville, Kentucky that provides technical assistance, and they helped us in mapping out this process. And so I just wanted to detail a little bit about that process and make sure people know how we want them to be a part of that process.
Yeah, no, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay. So again, we worked with Cities United. It's an organization out of Louisville, Kentucky that provides technical assistance to jurisdictions and creating frameworks for addressing gun violence. Zero Youth Detention worked in collaboration to map out this multi-phase process and engage our elected leaders. And so in elevating the community-led solutions. And so just a little background, this process has been in 2 phases. And so the first phase was about identifying regional and historical data. And that second milestone was engaging key partners. And so that was the beginning of this process. We're now completing phase 2. And so phase 2 is the work groups. And so that's where I jumped in. I joined Zero Youth Detention about 4 months ago. And so it's been really an honor to work with public health and to be a part of this process. I'm one of the strategic advisors for community-led safety. And so again, elevating this important work. And so we had 5 directions that helped to lead, or that were the thematic themes for the work groups. And the 5 work groups were community-led safety, juvenile justice, education, workforce development, and health and human services. And so of those 5 work groups, there were 5 recommendations put forth from each work group. It's really important for me to note that these groups were co-led by community and systems facilitators, and they worked through the milestones below, collaboratively developing key directions, establishing oversight and accountability, identifying and securing resources, and editing and reviewing and disseminating the recommendations. And so that's really why I'm here today, is because we're in that final phase of the recommendation process. We had a chance to, during that phase, there were 45 key partners who were convened, and more than 90 different meetings were held to engage in policy discussions and around these areas of concern and strategically identify solutions. And so really the recommendations is where we want community to be involved in.
All right, so there's a lot.
There's a lot.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, the thing is so it's a few things. I'm glad that Executive Constantine 2020, you know, so it was a racism is what?
It's a public health crisis.
Hey man, it's better late than never. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And you know, it's real interesting. And you know, I don't know, can everybody go like 5 minutes long today? This is a real important conversation. We good? Everybody got an extra 5 minutes? So the thing is, a few things that you bring up here in this process. And one, I'm glad that we were part of the process, that ZYD call to action video, you know what I'm saying? And that was actually voiced at the time by Derek Wheeler Smith.
Yes.
You know, we put that video together. We thought it was important to be able to get this call to action, this information that's in here. And it's just real interesting. And I'm glad that ZYD has stayed above the fray of politics and everything else. And I'm going to let you guys stay there. So I'm going to go and talk my talk. Okay. So you can stay there. But a year ago, when Willard Jimerson and Derek Wheeler Smith and Buki Gates, a lot of people, Gurmai Zahalai, a lot of people were sitting there saying, like, man, gun violence is an epidemic. There's a public health crisis. This is what's going on. And you know what? Couldn't get nobody in this city to really act or care about anything. You know what I'm saying? The mayor at the time, Mayor Durkin, put up, I think, $1.25 million or something close to $2 million for regional peacekeepers, the big data program and everything else. And we used to come on Converge and almost cry, and then some days would cry, said, how can we get this city to care? How can we get somebody to care? How can we get these elected officials to just acknowledge what's happening? And everybody was quiet. And then people would laugh, oh, public health emergency, epidemic, pandemic, what are you talking about? Until gun violence took over the whole municipality. Mm-hmm. And you see, when rich white people get impacted, things change. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When it's just us poor, marginalized, black, brown people who's sitting over here dying in D2 and D3, well, you know, let's do something. It wasn't until gun violence started impacting some of these most affluent neighborhoods in the city where people are like, oh, we have to do something about gun violence. Something has to be done. What's happening with gun violence? And then the disrespect continues because the people with the biggest voices who are like, well, you know what? We've got ZYD here. We've got public health. We've got big data. These guys have been boots on the grounds for years. They've been doing this and that. They disregard all the stuff that public health has been doing to disrupt gun violence, to placate these people from the affluent neighborhoods who are now impacted. And it's crazy. They're like, we have to do something about gun violence. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, we as Converge and us as a community have been saying this for decades. Generationally, but it ain't until rich white people in this city is impacted that now it's a big enough problem. Anyways, I needed to throw that out there because you know what I'm saying? I know that you guys and I appreciate how you don't go into this political world because you're real focused on your work, but viewers need to understand that y'all been doing the work. Public health been doing the work for years. You know what I'm saying? You get disregarded. You get these mayors out there in South King County who are like, oh, something has to be done with all about gun violence, and they disregard these Black-led efforts. You know what I'm saying? You talk to these mayors in South King County about gun violence, see if they'll mention a ZYD, see if they'll mention a Derek Wheeler Smith, see if they'll mention a regional peacekeeper. They act like none of those things exist because they Black-led. You know what I'm saying? And they're coming out of public health. And so anyways, all you guys out there, you mayors out there in South King County and everything else who want to disregard the work of public health, Seattle King County, there's at least one person right here who knows and will continue to remind you, and I'm going to continue to call you out, that you shouldn't be disregarding these community-led efforts here to disrupt gun violence that's been going on for years. Woosah. All that being said, what do you want the public to do?
Well, I want the public to know, thank you for what you just shared. I think that transparency and the heart and passion that went behind that. Thank you for acknowledging the work that's being done. And gun violence isn't new. Our communities have been impacted for years. And so the declaration came when it did, but we know that we've been experiencing the impacts of gun violence for many years, and our communities have suffered as a result of it. And so a part of this healing process is the community-led safety and well-being plan. And so what I want people to know is that we want the voices of those most impacted. My colleague's going to join us in a moment. Will's going to talk to us a bit more about the regional peacekeepers and the work that you just noted. But I want folks to come out and to make sure that they're a part of this process. On June 9th, the recommendations were presented to the executive roundtable of local elected officials led by Executive Constantine and Mayor Harrell and Council Member Prince to elevate the recommendations and also to gather their additional feedback. Today, we're here to share this update on the work so we can ask you, our community, for your vital feedback. That's why I'm here. I want your feedback. I want you to respond to the survey that will go live this Thursday, July 7th, and it's going to be on the Zero Youth Detention webpage. And so I want to make sure that that is elevated and that it's noted that we want the community feedback to be a part of this survey. And our next phases will move towards securing resources and implementing the shared regional community safety well-being plan. And your input is critical to the long-term success of the goal of creating environments where we can all be healthy, hopeful, safe, and thriving. And so we're requesting that you join us in completing the community feedback survey. Again, it's going to go live Thursday, July 7th on the Zero Youth Detention website. Once we complete our feedback process, we'll see you here again on Converge. And so that's going to be really important that we get the community's feedback, because recommendations are put forth oftentimes, but we want the voices of those who are most impacted to be a part of it.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. So this is Thursday. We're going to send out the link to our email blast. We're going to do this and that. I'm going to set a time where Director Salman, either you or Willard, somebody ZYD, comes make a PSA. Don't worry, we'll use the teleprompter. You read right there. So we got video, you know what I'm saying, the community, and we telling people exactly where to go. We put the website link in there. You know, it's Converge. How we do anything is how we do everything, especially when it comes to these young people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We want to do our part.
Absolutely. Well, again, I just appreciate you having us on. Again, I am not new to this work. I'm new to public health and Zero Youth Detention, but it's important. It's my passion. It's my heartbeat. Interrupting the school to prison pipeline. You know, I was a school leader for a number of years, and now I get a chance to be a strategic advisor with public health and Zero Youth Detention. And so these recommendations are close to my heart. It's my first body of work that I'm holding, and I want to make sure community voice is a part of this process, that they get a chance to look at what these groups spent over a year almost constructing.
Right. All right. Well, this is good stuff. And I will say this is the second press conference that Mayor Harrell had, maybe second or third. It was about homelessness and gun violence. And my question that I asked Mayor Harrell was, are you working with King County with all the stuff that they got going on, everything from big data to interruption and everything else? What he said at the time was like, man, I'm down to work with anybody who's going to stop the gun violence. So you mentioned that the mayor is with you on this. That's a good thing to hear. Tia Yarbrough, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Omari.
All right. We're going to take a quick break right now, because I know we're already over time, but it's an important discussion. We got Willard Jimerson. If you're from the hood, you know it's Willie J. Coming up right after the break. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Hey there, it's Trae Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. Just so you know, Friends of Waterfront's block party is back this year. And of course, myself and G Prez will be back hosting the full-on live stream on Converge in case you can't be there. Look, it literally all goes down this Saturday at Pier 62. And not only will myself and G Prez be there, you know my girl Trae Holiday is going to be on the stage emceeing the entire event. You don't want to miss it. Just like last year, there will be food, there will be games, there will be music, there will be performances, and there will also be some dancing. So look, make sure you pull up to Pier 62 this Saturday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will see you there. And of course, I do have to make sure I give an amazing shout out to our sponsor of this year's Friends of Waterfront block party, which happens to be Stanley. So again, I'll see you guys this Saturday, and make sure you wear something cute. That way we can take some photos.
The truth with proof, the truth with proof. If you nice with the sports, then he swooping through. He gon' highlight you. Ain't nobody live like us, fly like us. We gon' find you, put the city behind you. Let us know you got skills, we gon' be at a game. In the Northwest, we reppin' the city where it rain.
All right, welcome to Overtime with the Day with Trae. You know what I'm saying? We're a bit over today, but real important discussion. My name is Omari, Salisbury, filling in for my colleague Trae on a holiday. Joined now by Willard, Jimerson, Public Health, Seattle King County, Zero Youth Detention. Welcome back.
Thank you, Omari. It's definitely a pleasure to be in space with you.
Right, but before we jump into everything, it didn't even welcome back. It's man, welcome back home. And before you got here, you see, I was singing your praises. It said that it well before the protest, well before the murder of George Floyd, well before COVID, everything else, we had our show, and we're waiting for some time. You know what I'm saying? You always are home right here for our show, Good Game Alert. Yes. And now the whole point of Good Game Alert was really to give good information to community members, to young people before they make that decision to pick up a gun, yes, and also people returning back home from being incarcerated, how to integrate back into the system. Yes, so I will say, Willard Jimerson, A1 from day one, yes, right, sir, here on the Converge Network.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back home. You know, it's also a pleasure to be in space with you to just say thank you. I know we're in the heat of a heavy topic around gun violence and the impacts it's been having on our community and our nation. But I just wanted to just say, you know, all congrats to Converge for the Emmy Award, for the wonderful work you do in community, you know, just highlighting the voices of those who are not always nestled in conversations that are important, and for the most part that may be impacting their lives. So I just want to say thank you and take my hats off to Converge for that.
I appreciate it. Yes. But see, unlike you with all that hair, I can't I take my hat off.
Well, you know, they say grass don't grow on the busy street, man. You've been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of work.
All right. So we heard from Tia earlier, yes, you know, and really the call to action for community feedback. And I think you're here now. Tell us about the regional peacekeepers, right?
Yes.
And what's going on with that.
Yeah, so as the Regional Peacekeepers Collective, we just want to highlight, you know, this as a go first strategy in connection to the community-led, you know, public safety work that was highlighted by Tia Yarbrough. And we are, you know, making sure and trying to ensure that folks from community are informed on what's going on, what's impacting community, want their voice to be a part of a collective decision-making that brings resources and usher those resources into the space and into the lives of young folks in community that are deserving of that opportunity to have those resources. So with the Regional Peacekeepers Collective, we were officially formed in 2021. As you stated earlier, you know, that we've been boots on the ground, collectivizing and really collapsing silos that exist not only in communities, but oftentimes may show up in different, you know, spaces like organizations who are leading certain efforts around intervention, prevention, and restoration. So we was ensuring around this particular emergency issue around gun violence, how can we collapse those walls, overlap strategies amongst different organizations, collectivizing and bringing together a network to provide resources into the community and into the spaces, into the lives of young folks and families who are deserving of those opportunities. That's what we've been able to do with the Regional Peacekeepers Collective, but more so importantly, highlighting that, gun violence is not only an uptick nationally, but it's impacting Seattle and throughout King County. We've seen in different parts of King County and southern parts of King County where there's been a 200% increase in gun violence. Just speaking to that chief out of that south part of King County, he also informed me that they are now 22% higher than that 200% increase. Last year's data showed us that 372 people were non-fatally shot. We had 88 homicides and 1,405 shot-fired incidences. And the data reflects that over 50% of those victims are Black, men and males in Seattle. So we want to make sure that everybody get the resources that they need and are deserving to have a quality life.
And could you touch on this just quickly? Because I keep saying it in a larger sense, but I'm saying like big data. Can you talk about how, I know it's the peacekeepers, but how all these other things play into the peacekeepers, how you guys are taking the data and what the data says, like if you know somebody who's been shot, then your chances are higher. And then like how guys are intervening there, maybe at Harborview, when you have a shooting victim and you're trying to stop retaliation, how all these things play into keeping the peace.
Yes, sir. One of the things just to highlight that is we're really developing this gold standard around training. I refer to the team that I work with as the Navy SEALs of this work, for the lack of a better term, meaning that they're getting elicit the best training from the best trainers who understand culturally nuances, different specific nuances culturally that speaks to this particular new kind of public health worker that we're referring to, and also still in some of the jargon or the verbiage of Dr. Akil Bashir, who we are in a part of his training as well through the critical incident response, where he said this work is putting the public back into public safety. So what we're doing is we're really training and raising a professionalism around folks who have been similarly situated as the population that they're serving to be resourced, but ensuring that they're getting what they need to meet their professional needs as well. So a part of that is having this high gold standard training that gives them what they need so they can stand on the front lines around a critical incidents response. They know how to engage properly around outreach. They know how to support the young folks around case management. And as you mentioned, we have a client referral manager as well. And we have bedside support. We have a partnership with Harborview Medical Center. And it was important because that data, as you mentioned, led us to some of these things that let us know that we needed to develop a relationship with Harborview Medical Center. As we know, doctors in those spaces want to see people be healthy and whole and thriving, but they don't have the resources substantially to move them from just being stitched up in things of that nature. So we've been able to have a partnership with ZYD and Harborview Medical Center. We've been able to place a community interventionist, violence interventionist into that space. And a part of that's because the data shows within 17 hours, if you do not disrupt and interfere with violence that shows up in that particular space, that there's opportunity for retaliation and the spread of the infection of disease to spread. And so we want to make sure that they're getting that bedside care, that bedside support. So any space that these incidents are showing up in, we have a unique trained elite staff that responds to that and gives the support that is needed.
All right. I see you guys out there working, as usual. And, I mean, we've seen it all kind of come together over the last few years here. We want to continue to do our job to amplify these efforts. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to just put you and Tia and ZYD out of business.
Yes.
I know it's going to take a while.
Yes.
We want you guys to move on with the other places in your career. You know what I'm saying? Take them skills. It's going to take a lot of effort, man. But you know what I'm saying? We want to be able to to get after this gun violence issue. Is there anything else that you want to share with us about the regional peacekeepers?
Really just emphasizing, that this is a go first strategy. This is really creating something of a little bit of creating an opportunity for young folks to have a space to blossom. So we know that everything is not welled up with the Regional Peacekeepers Collective. This is putting the public, once again, back into public safety to stop the hemorrhaging, for the lack of a better term, in terms of the bleeding and the toxicity that some of these young folks are faced with every day. But we also need overlapping strategy and accountability from various partners, as Tia has raised around our community-led public safety work. It takes more than just critical incidents responders, people that are understanding intervention, prevention, and restoration. But we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need other different community folks to step in.
People realize too, it's crazy, because if you look at this through the lens of public health, then you want to pay people accordingly. And that's the thing. This is dangerous work. I remember I talked to Prosecutor Satterberg, man. It was like a year ago. He was like, hey, look, man, this is dangerous work. These guys is out there, man. These young people, you know what I'm saying, trying to get people to put down guns. They can get killed. They can get shot. This is dangerous work people over there doing. And I remember, a conversation is that getting the public to understand that this is public health work. Yes. And when you look at it like that, as opposed to, some black folk out there trying to get the kids, put the gun down. No, man, this is, like you said, is critical. This is your elite team here. That's highly trained in all of these different categories. There's things to support. We got to get out of here. We're 10 minutes over time, man. That camera right there, Willard, is there anything you want people to know, or how to reach ZYD or support?
We want to ensure that you guys take the survey link that's going to be provided, that's going live here Thursday, to elicit your response around these recommendations. We need the support, as highlighted here by Converge. It takes all of us to be able to, to quell and extinguish, the threat of harm in a form of gun violence. And so we're all doing our part. We want everybody to step up and do their part as well. And so we're just asking for the community to step in and support these young folks who are deserving of an opportunity to be supported.
All right, we're gonna do our part. Salman, we can send these guys back down here. They can make a PSA and everything. Yeah. See, we're gonna do our part, man. We want to be able to disrupt. You know what I'm saying? We've actually got King 5 in the building right here, right now. And so maybe when we talk to Bert over here, maybe we can get some on Thursday, sometime over there. Maybe King 5 can also elevate your efforts that you're doing right here. You know what I'm saying? We want to use there is no competition in the goal of disruption of gun violence. So let's make the rounds across every station here in Seattle if we can. All right.
You like that. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Willard. Want to thank everybody for staying with us. 11, 12 minutes overtime. Sorry, Trae. You know what I'm saying? I'll make it up to you. Trayana is back tomorrow, and actually I'm on the road. We're on the road, me and Vaughn, IHeart, Brady McAtee, Shaylon, McLennan. We're heading down south with Baseball Beyond Borders. Baseball Beyond Borders, along with Dan Wilson, former Mariner Dan Wilson. We're going to Alabama and Mississippi. They're going to play some ball games down there. We're going to learn about reconciliation. You know what I'm saying? As one of the discussions we're having down there. And also going to be visiting a bunch of civil rights museums. If you guys follow us on Converge, Baseball Beyond Borders, man, means a lot to us. We're always covering, man. People figure we're a baseball network because we're always covering baseball stories. So we'll be out of here for the next few weeks. But, of course, you'll have Trae here every day. Appreciate your viewership. Appreciate your support. And I guess I'll leave you with the old standby. Go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m., peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.